They laughed, literally. When I bought that broken little shack by the lake, the whole HOA stood at the corner, whispering and smirking. $5 for that dump? Guess someone's desperate, Karen said loud enough for everyone to hear. I just smiled, locked the rusty gate, and didn't say a word. Because if they knew what I knew, they'd stop laughing real quick. The shack looked like it could fall any minute. Peeling paint, cracked windows, and a porch that groaned louder than my old truck. But under all that mess, there was history. My grandpa built it back in the 60s. He used to say, land by the water never loses value. It just waits. And I believed him. For the first few weeks I worked quietly, repaired the deck, fixed the pipes, even cleared out the old boathouse. Every morning Karen and her HOA buddies passed by with their dogs, pretending to jog but stopping to stare. That place is a hazard, she'd yell from the sidewalk. You can't do construction without HOA approval. I ignored her. Because technically, this land wasn't part of their HOA. The line ended 30 feet before my gate. But Karen acted like she owned the entire lake. She even taped a fake notice of violation on my door one morning. That's when I started to realize she wasn't just nosy, she was planning something. A week later, a man in a suit showed up, clipboard in hand. I'm with the Lakeside HOA inspection team, he said, flashing a laminated card. We're here to evaluate your property for compliance. Compliance with what? I asked. I'm not even under HOA jurisdiction. He smiled. Not yet. My gut twisted. That's when I knew they were trying to pull my shack into their map, and if I didn't stop them soon, I'd lose everything my grandpa left me. The next morning, I saw bright orange flags stuck all along my property line, tiny markers running straight from the edge of the lake to my porch steps. Karen stood there sipping her coffee like she'd just claimed victory. Good morning, she yelled. Fake smile plastered on her face. Surveyors came by. We're expanding HOA boundaries for community improvement. Community improvement, I repeated slowly, eyeing the flags. You mean stealing land that isn't yours? Her smile dropped for a split second before she recovered. You'll thank us later when property values go up. That shack brings everyone's price down. I wanted to say something back, but instead I pulled out my phone and started recording. Her eyes narrowed. You can't record me without consent, she snapped. Sure I can, I said calmly. I'm standing on my land. She stormed off, muttering something about fines and reports. But what really got me thinking wasn't her temper. It was the way she said surveyors. HOA doesn't hire surveyors unless there's something big going on. Later that evening, I drove to the county office to check property records. And there it was. Someone had filed a boundary adjustment request under Lakeside Association Development. The signature at the bottom. Karen's. She was actually trying to register my land under the HOA map. If that went through, they could legally fine me, control what I build, even force me to sell. I leaned back in the chair, heart pounding. They weren't just bullying me anymore. They were setting me up to lose everything. So that night I made a decision. I wasn't going to fight back with anger. I was going to fight back with proof. And lucky for me, I had something that could destroy their entire plan. The next day I started digging through the old metal box my grandpa left behind. Inside were faded photos, land deeds, and one yellowed map of the entire lake area. I laid it on the table and traced the border lines with my finger. And that's when I froze. The map was dated 1959, long before the HOA even existed, and it clearly showed that the lake, the whole lake, belonged to my grandfather, which meant technically it was mine now, not just the shack, not just the land around it, the entire lake. I stared at it for a long time, trying to process what that meant. Then I realized why Karen was so desperate. If the HOA controlled the lake, they could charge every house around it extra lake access fees. That's millions in revenue. But if I owned it, they had nothing. I drove straight to the county registrar the next morning. The clerk, an older man named Mike, looked over the documents and smiled faintly. Well, I'll be damned, he said. This deed's legit. Your grandpa never sold a single inch. You're the full owner of Lake Pine. That moment, everything clicked. Karen's fake notices, the survey flags, the sudden expansion. She'd been playing dirty because she knew this one truth could destroy her HOA power. When I got back, Karen and 2 board members were standing right outside my gate again. Clipboard, camera, smug expressions, the whole package. "Mr. Walker," Karen said sweetly, "we've decided to issue you a formal HOA fine of $3,000 for unauthorized renovations." I smiled. "Funny thing, Karen," I said, pulling out my phone and tapping record. "You just fined the guy who owns the lake your whole neighborhood depends on." Her eyes went wide. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," I said. "And from now on, your little HOA isn't allowed to step 1 foot onto my property or my water." She laughed nervously, trying to play it off. But I could see it, the fear behind that fake confidence. Because deep down she knew I wasn't bluffing. For the next few days, everything went quiet. Too quiet. No fake fines, no notes on my door, no Karen standing at my gate. I almost thought she'd given up. Then one morning I woke up to shouting outside. 2 tow trucks were parked by my driveway, and a county sheriff's car sat behind them. Karen was there too, waving her hands like she was directing traffic. "That's the one," she yelled. "This man is violating property codes and blocking community access." I stepped out calmly, coffee still in hand. "Community access to what?" I asked. "To the lake," she snapped. "The HOA owns this shoreline and you're trespassing on it." The deputy looked confused. "Ma'am, he lives here." "Not legally," she barked. "His property line ends 20 feet back." "I have the documents." I could tell she was bluffing, but the sheriff seemed unsure. So I walked over, opened my truck door and pulled out a folder. Inside were my grandpa's deed, the 1959 survey, and the county's verification letter from yesterday. "Before you write any tickets," I said, handing them over, "you might want to take a look at these." The deputy flipped through the papers, his eyes widening with every page. Then he looked straight at Karen. "Ma'am, this document says he owns not just this shack but the entire lake." Karen blinked fast. That can't be right. The HOA map says otherwise." "The HOA map isn't law," the deputy replied flatly. "County records are—" Her face went red. I swear she was shaking with anger. "This isn't over," she hissed, pointing at me. "You think a piece of paper will stop us? We run this community." She stormed off, but I could feel it. She wasn't done. Karen never quits when she's cornered, and I had no idea she was about to take things way further than anyone expected. Because that night, I saw lights on the water. Someone was on my lake after midnight. It was past midnight when I noticed the faint glow drifting across the lake. 2 small boats, barely making noise, gliding toward the old dock behind my shack. At first I thought maybe it was kids fishing, but then I heard the voices, sharp, hushed, familiar. "Get the sign up before morning," one of them whispered. "Karen." I slipped on my boots and grabbed my flashlight, moving quietly down the porch steps. The boards creaked under my weight, so I stopped halfway, crouching low. They were hammering something into the dock, metal signs with big red letters. "Private property, HOA access only." I recorded everything. Every word, every hammer strike. Then Karen turned, her flashlight catching me halfway through the trees. "Who's there?" she snapped. I stepped out slowly, letting the beam of my light hit her square in the face. "You really don't know when to quit, do you, Karen?" She froze, then smirked. "You don't scare me." "You think that little deed means anything? We'll prove it's fake." "Good luck with that," I said, "because the county verified it." Her expression changed again, this time pure panic mixed with hate. She turned to the man beside her. "Take the signs." "Let's go." They jumped into the boat and sped off, splashing water everywhere. I just stood there, shaking my head. I could have called the cops right then, but something told me to wait. Karen wasn't just breaking rules anymore. She was trying to erase the truth. The next morning, I sent the video to the sheriff's office. By noon, I got a call back. "We'll investigate," they said. "But it looks like she's claiming you trespassed on HOA property." I almost laughed. She's unbelievable. That's when I decided to end this game once and for all. I gathered every document, every photo, and even drone footage showing the property lines. If Karen wanted war, she was about to get one, and this time the whole town would be watching.